Welcome to Croatia, known for its passionate football fans, white posset wine that goes extremely well with the local octopus, apartmani and German tourists. But let me assure you, there is far more to it. We are just outside Zadar, a Roman pearl on the beautiful turquoise Dalmatian coast. But we're not here just for the hundreds of islands and tasty sea urchins. We are here for something much more interesting. To be more precise, right now we are stood on Punta Scala with the most amazing, exquisite collection of classic motorcycles you can imagine.
Y durante los siguientes días nosotros vamos a rodar por algunas de las mejores carreteras del mundo.
There's twins, triples, 4 cylinders, 6 cylinders, 2 strokes, 4 strokes, right shift, left shift, all real icons of almost 3 decades of motorcycle history.
So let's check out what we've got here. So, my selection. Well, the British, they thought they were invincible, there was an element of arrogance, they were definitely underfunded. And then of course the invasion of the Japanese machines, high revving, multi-cylinders. Most people didn't think they would last that long, including myself. But ultimately, they were the end of the British motorcycle industry. And then of course, you've got the Germans, the well-built precision engineering, the machine that would always get you home. My favourite is So this is my group, and it's supposed to be called Old versus New, but it's the most eclectic mix of motorcycles I think you could ever imagine. And I'm going to call it Europe versus Japan, and there's no question in my mind that Japan won. I'm going to start with the BMW. Not a lot you can say about it. The bike is absolutely perfect, very, very well made. I feel sorry for BMW in some ways because they make this brilliant motorcycle, but actually no one really loves it. It does a job. It's like a car to take you to work.
You know what's worse? Nowadays they only use the engine to make cafe races out of it.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
It is.
In a way, there are some good ones, but yeah. And for me, the rest of, well, if I may add something, it's maybe the bike I would buy in about 20 years. Enough said.
Estoy de acuerdo con vosotros, es una moto fácil de conducir con el motor boxer de BMW que no nos da ningún sobresalto, pero tiene un toque diferente, es su Silver Smoke, ese color que va degradado desde el plata hasta el oscuro que hace que tenga un estilo y un conjunto muy, muy agradable, muy bonito.
Right, let's stay with Europe and we're going to go over to the Norton. To me, I'm afraid I am very British and very patriotic, but it's a dinosaur. It's like a 1970s Aston Martin as far as I'm concerned. It's kind of living on its name. Norton made some great motorcycles, but I'm not sure if they did with the Commando. It needs 2 people to put it on the stand and take it off the stand. It needs about 3 people to try and start it. It's big, it's heavy, got a lovely engine and a great thrusting power noise and everything else like it, but just not for me. It's nothing like as good as it should be.
Una moto clásica que ya nació clásica por su estilo, pero que tengo que decir que me gusta mucho el color que tiene de la carrocería.
I really thought that the Norton would be really a piece of old economy, really a piece of leaking old British, well...
Don't be rude.
Yes, okay, I won't be too rude, but that bike surprised me a lot, you know, because it's stable, the engine, you know, the vibe from the engine is really, really fantastic. I like it, I really love it, but I was thinking to name it as my favorite, but I'm a little bit afraid that it's from the point of view of vintage thinking, you know, so it was just, but still not my favorite, no.
And when you think about it, what are you going to buy, this or that? This is 51 years old. The Honda I'm talking about here, the 754. It's an amazing piece of kit. I remember myself, I was a spectator at the Isle of Man TT. One of these turned up, a friend of mine on it, and we all looked around and we're trying to find things wrong with it, but you can't. It looks really good. It goes well. It's extremely smooth. It's got everything you could imagine, and it's far superior to anything like that over there. But it doesn't really get your heart beating, I would say.
A mí lo primero que me gusta es el estilo que tiene, es una moto que es redonda con sus 4 escapes, muy bonita, un color también impresionante que no se había visto nunca y una moto que fue la puerta para la modernidad de las motos. Estable, fácil de conducir, segura, una moto que me ha gustado mucho, muy equilibrada y muy fácil de conducir.
Well, of course, it's the bike of last century. You know, this bike was the total revolution in the motorcycle world. And to be honest, I have a CB250 from the same year in my garage, but I wouldn't put this one next to it because for me it's a bit like the Bohemian Rhapsody. I've heard it and seen it too many times, so sorry for this Honda.
Which brings us on to this baby here. You've got to buy this with your heart. I loved it because A, it's a 2-stroke and it screams, it revs to 10,500 RPM. The induction noise, the sound that comes with it. There's 1 or 2 problems it's got. It's got a weird gearbox where all the way down is neutral, so you end up at a T-junction in no gears whatsoever. The brakes aren't real good and it's a bit of a flexi flyer, but it puts a massive smile on my face and I could listen to this and smell it all day long.
Una moto con un depósito, con un estilo, con un diseño muy bonito que me ha gustado mucho, una moto delgadita, finita, ligera, con un gran motor, una moto casi de carreras, una moto que huele a 2 tiempos, que da gusto escucharla y que tenía muy mala fama en mi país porque la llamaban la hacedora de viudas.
That for me is a chainsaw on wheels. It's totally mental. It's a crazy bike. It is just made for speed, for top speed. It's really unstable, you know, here in the mountain roads. The brakes are crap. It stinks, it makes noise, it drinks like a British football supporter. Everything which is totally irresponsible. In a way, it's a total stretch middle finger towards the world. And I love it.
There you go, I rest my case, the Kawasaki. The Kawasaki 500 2-stroke 3-cylinder, nicknamed the Widowmaker for a very good reason. This motorcycle was designed with just one priority in mind: record-breaking top performance and speed. Everything else was of lesser importance. With 60 high-revving, noisy and smoking horsepower and a dry weight of only 170 kilos, it left test riders in 1969 absolutely speechless or in a ditch. So, the monsters of the 70s that all had 6 appeal. So, our favourite is